Ian, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. You're all the way out in Arizona, and it is golf season where you are all the time, but it is starting to get to be golf season here. Can you give us a sense of just how much business has been booming during COVID, and has it been a bit of a gift in disguise, at least on the business side of things, for Superstroke?
Absolutely. It's been, unfortunately, it's been a gift. I mean, when I say
Right.
unfortunately, the world situation is, not the best, but for the golf industry, Ryan, it's brought a lot of new players back to the game that used to play. It's brought new people to the game because, as you know, one of the main reasons golf was declining since 2007 was the quote unquote, I don't have enough time, to go play golf. And that was the biggest reason. And of course, now with people having been mortally stuck in their homes, they're dying for a reason to go out with their kids and their wives and their friends and get 5 hours away from the house. So, and I think it's just brought back the general sense of fun, that the
Yeah.
game really brings, and the general sense of excitement that the game offers to people. And I think it's really been a jolt of golf for a lot of people that had kind of skewed away, and the people who used to play once a month are now playing twice a week, and the people who played twice a week are playing 5 times a week, and the people who played once a year are playing 3 times every 2 weeks. And so the demand on the game has been heavy,
Yeah.
and of course it's made it tough because of all the shutdowns during that March to June period, which production for manufacturers was halted pretty
Yeah.
much, and then you open the doors, and people in a general sense from the industry side were like, "Wow, what's going to happen?" Because nobody knew, Ryan,
Right.
nobody knew anything. I mean, this was all a brand new experience for all of us, and people were wondering, are we going to be in business? Are we going to be, are we going to be selling things? Are things going to be on sale to make? And then you come out of this, and everything that you could manufacture, you could sell as fast as you can manufacture it. So, yeah, it's been a huge boost. I don't want to say fortunately for golf, because it's been unfortunate for the world what's happened, but at least we've been a comforting spot for people to be able to get out and enjoy themselves a little bit in the outdoors.
I wanted to ask you in particular about those kind of lapsed golfers, or some of the golfers that you talked about, maybe used to play once a month and now they're playing more frequently, just they have the time or it's just somewhere to go. Has that been a particular boom for Superstroke? Because those folks who are coming back to the game, maybe with 10, 15-year-old clubs, all of a sudden they need some new grips. And for the people who weren't playing that much, well, they're playing more often, so they need new grips.
Well, I think it's for all aspects. I mean, you have people coming to the game that had old equipment that need new grips. You have people wearing their grips out. I mean, like I said, if you played 10 times a year and you needed grips once a year, now you're playing 100 times a year. You need grips 3 times this year. I mean, and I think the industry has a lot of great products to offer people, and there's a lot of different choices, especially in the grip arena route now. And of course, the demand in that arena is so high. And as you probably have learned, there's a huge undersupply of grips at the moment because of the demand that's going on. And we're working hard to stay up with it, but it's kind of crazy. But I think you're right in your point is that the demand is just off the charts. We've never seen any demand like this. And it's coupled by a lot of things. It's not just, it's coupled by lack of supply for a good amount of period, then a glut on demand. And there's only so many hours in a day to manufacture.
Yeah.
And, all that time that we lost from March until June manufacturing is like a tea time. if you have an 8:15 tee time and it's 8:30, you aren't putting somebody out at 8:15 anymore. So you don't get it back. So,
Yeah, right.
So,
So you guys, it's not like Superstroke's brand new to the golf world. You guys have been around, but maybe for folks who hadn't been playing or hadn't been playing as much, maybe they knew Superstroke as a putter grip company instead of what you guys are now, which is a full lineup of grips for all of your clubs. So has that been kind of helpful for Superstroke? Now you could say you could have a Superstroke grip for all 14.
well, and I think you make a great point. And listen, I mean, even though we're fairly large in our club grip business, we're still getting to be known better for that. As you said, we are the number one putter grip company in the world, and the number one brand for putter grips. And I think, in the club grip arena, we're a strong number three, maybe four, some would argue. But and still, if you think about that, to be, in that position when relatively still, I don't want to say unknown, but starting to be known. And, we've committed to that arena really hard with a lot of technology.
Yeah.
And a lot of products that are really helping golfers play better golf. And it's funny because, as you know, Joe Damon just won this weekend using Superstroke club grips. It's funny, at my club championship this weekend. So we had Joe Damon win on Sunday. We had the club champion win with Superstroke putter grip and club grips, and the over senior guy win with Superstroke cross comfort, which is a polyurethane grip and things. So it's funny, we got 3 wins on Sunday, even though only one of them really mattered.
Well, you got wins all the time, though. I mean, this is a word of mouth business in a lot of ways. So if you could show somebody, hey, the Superstroke grips for the full lineup are great, they feel comfortable. That's someone telling somebody, and maybe that has that pyramid effect. I guess my question is, for the Joel Damons of the world or Jordan Spieths of the world, those guys on tour who obviously are very visible, you could see what grips they're playing on TV. How much does that move business compared to a normal amateur golfer who maybe just influences their foursome and that foursome and that foursome?
Well, I think you make a great point. I think, believe it or not, in my own opinion, I think it's the golfer, moves the foursome more. It's hard on tour. Our putter product, you can see very well,
Yeah.
right? And we're very fortunate that, it's so recognizable on tour. And I think 4 of the top 5 players in the world, all use it. And, we're, as I'm not, saying anything you don't know. I mean, we pretty much are lucky to be able to be on TV a lot in the final groups almost every week. And so that product is pretty recognizable even from 50 to 100 feet away, on a camera angle, where if you zoom in on a club grip, you really, like on Spieth's grip and Damon's and Joel Damon's grip, you see that, but does that say Superstroke? And
Right.
And if you see that, that's hard to see on TV.
Right.
So we've had a lot of wins. We've had a few major wins with our club grips, and that that of course moves the needle. But I think your point exactly. I think the pyramid effect at the most natural level really moves the needle when guys like our club champion and guys start seeing, wow, he's using Superstroke and he's the club, people play with him every week, right? And they're up close and personal. So it just so happened, Joe Damon is a member at my country club. So if you noticed in his interview, he says, Mesa CC boys, start the tab. I'm coming.
Mm-hmm. I was just about to ask you about that because I'm hoping you get some of that bar tab.
Well, Joe's just I mean, I don't personally know him, super well or anything, but I know him well to say hi and help him if he needs anything. But he's very well liked, and he's a superhuman being from what everybody says. And, I mean, we're proud to have him out there, and he's a good guy, and he deserves it. I mean, I think he shot 58 during COVID, right?
He did. Yeah, he did.
It was pretty funny, but, yeah, so I do agree with your point. I think the masses move the needle, and I think we're starting to see that. I mean, if you would see our curve, I mean, it's just gone like this to like this now with the club grips. And of course, I think you probably know we're doing a lot more to market club grips
Yeah.
than we've done in the past. But I think the reason for that is because we have a substantial product line that we feel is ready to, take that step into being a real super player in that market.
I guess that leads me to this question, which is, how is marketing putter grips, which, like you mentioned, really visible on TV, very easy to notice just because they're bigger and longer? And how do you compare marketing those to your standard club grips that, like you said, you guys got different varieties. Some look more like the putter grips, some more like a traditional grip, but they don't just scream super stroke all the time.
No, but I think, like if you're looking at a grip like that, right? That kind of screams super stroke, and that's a club.
And I have those on my irons. I'm like, okay, people know that's a super stroke grip.
Right. And I think you bring a great point, which is, we're known for our great feel and comfort and tackiness in our putter grips. And when we did, Dean Dingman, who's our CEO, and I and our team, we did some focus groups, a number of years ago, and we were always doing them. And one of the most common thing was why aren't you making a grip that feels more like your putter grip? We love the putter grip. And, and henceforth, this was born.
Yeah.
And this is identical construction to the putter grip, other than the fact it's a little bit, it's built to be a club grip, which some different durometers, which are obviously, the amount of stiffnesses and so forth. But I think your point is exactly that. I mean, why, if you love that feel so much, why not love that feel all the way through your set, especially when, and you have them on your clubs now. I mean, they feel unbelievable, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, and my grip pressure is a little bit lighter, and it just feels super comfortable. And yeah, that's why I want a putter grip, but that's also what I want in a full club grip.
Exactly. But we make, I mean, just to kind of give you an idea of how broad the selection is. So this is what we call our S-Tech grip. I always have to look, and it's probably hard to see, of course, on a Zoom call, but this is kind of your standard velvety feel, which is what Damon and Spieth and Garcia use. We then have a more wrap style rubber grip, which is super tacky. So now you add, you've got standard, you got mid-size, you've got different colors available. So we have a really strong representation in the rubber category. And then we slide over here to our polyurethane category, and we make, this is a different grip than the one I just showed. This is called our Cross Comfort, and it has a totally different feel than this particular one. This one is a little firmer, right? And this one's, I don't want to say it's not as firm, but in this particular, and then we have the wrap style in the PU, which of course is for the guy who wants, a little softer feel. A
little give, yeah.
Yeah. And, as people get older and start having some arthritic issues and so forth and so on, sometimes softer is better. I mean, obviously I think we know, for great play, you want less torque, but sometimes, what, in us old people, getting your hands to be more comfortable and not hurting as much is a very important, feature. But the cool thing is, because of what we're able to do, like these are the same two grips, just different colors.
Yeah.
And we make like 5 different colors of these. They get to be fun. We also make them, with team logos on them, which is also fun for people who like to support, their schools. And I just think we have just a super offering of different products now to help people enjoy the game and make it more comfortable for them to play.
It kind of strikes me as you going through like this whole lineup, and I think about this every now and then, but how broad the variety of grips there are, and how nowadays how personalized you can make them relative to even 10 years ago. I mean, the stuff that you guys are doing in terms of colors, logos, model types, and all the different things you can do with rubber, poly. I mean, that's a lot of grips. That's a lot of SKUs.
It is. And if you think, back, let's just go back and, I don't want to ask you exactly how old you are, but, I'm sure you were playing golf 15 years ago, right?
Yep.
So 15 years ago, if you had a bad day with your putter and it was time to change it, I mean, what did you do? I'll answer that for you. You bought a new putter.
Right.
Right.
Right. It had to be the putter. Couldn't have been anything else.
What we've done at Superstroke, in my belief, is that we've created, we have, I want to say, I think 32 different shapes and sizes of putter grips.
Wow.
So if you think about it, Ryan, if you have a bad day at your putter, you can go from a pistol to a pistol to a claw to a wrist lock, all on the same putter. You could have 32 different putters.
Yeah. Just doing that.
Just by doing it. And I think, that's what I think one of our biggest contributions, is making, the availability of changing one's grip, completely changing the feel and how it feels in your hand. And I think, we've created that category, which didn't really exist before.
Right.
I mean, the only reason you changed your putter grip 15 years ago was why? It wore out.
Wore out.
Right. And a lot of people didn't change them then.
I was one of those people.
Right. You just had that beat up, rubber thing on there or a leather, back in the old days with the, with the, what was it called? The John Reuters, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now, I mean, the average guy probably puts on 5 or 7 different Super Strokes on the same putter over a lifetime.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. It's amazing when I go to people at my own club sometimes, and it's like, wow, hey, can you get? I'm putting claw now, and I know that's one of the things you wanted to touch on.
Yep.
How does the industry, narrow down and make things that people need with the new styles of putting?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you look at this grip right here, you can see it's almost rectangular, right?
Yeah.
And then the top portion is very pistol-y. So allows this grip to be held with the claw,
Hell, yeah.
the saw, the pencil. You can do all these different things, and that's called the claw grip. It comes in 2 different sizes.
Yeah.
Is amazing, for people who are trying to look for a more comfortable way to claw, where you can get your hands and your fingers in the same position every time. Then I know you wanted to, I saw in your notes that you were interested to hear more about the wrist lock.
Mm-hmm.
And the wrist lock is meant to fit, for lack of a better way, into the wrist.
Yep.
Now you can putt, with a locked wrist, because you have this sideways component that locks right into your wrist and flattens it out. And of course, then you go back to our original size and standard that we built the company on, which just comes in 4 different shapes and sizes, 4 different sizes. So this particular one is a 3.0 tour. We make a 1.0, a 2.0, 3.0, and a 5.0. So you've got four, and this is what we would call more of our original standard design, which is called the Tour, and it's almost kind of barrel shaped with a flat front.
Yep.
And then the other super popular area has been the pistol style grips. So we've come out with our own take on the pistol style grips, which has, of course, the pistol, as you can see, pistol shape at the top, but at the bottom, we've incorporated almost a pentagonal shape, which gives you all 5 points of contact in your hand. So if you look at your hand, when you hold a putter grip, you really have 5 different points of contact. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on top. And those 5 points are all achieved through this style of grip. And at the top, it gives you a nice pistol feel, right,
Yep.
to lock into there. And of course, this is available in 3 different sizes. This is a pistol Tour, this smaller one, and the bigger one's a 2.0. And of course, there's a 1.0 in the middle. And these 3 shapes are what dominate, what you see on tour.
Right.
Along with the Flatzo, which is the same pentagonal shape, but it's all the way through both sides.
Yep.
And that's what, of course, our flagship Jordan Spieth uses.
Yep.
So that kind of rounds out, I think, that kind of rounds out, like, the bulk. And of course, then we make longer versions of each one. We make, 19 and 21 and 17. And, for people who want to putt it all the way up to their elbow, and people like a longer grip in their hand. So, I mean, you start coupling all that together and you're in the 30s as far as different options, not including colors.
I mean, the amazing thing is, and this is, you were talking about the claw and then arm, kind of wrist lock, arm lock. I mean, you have something that covers basically every conceivable stroke style in putter.
Except throwing it.
I was going to say the snail, Mark Hubbard's snail. Maybe you don't have that yet, the pinky grip, but maybe that can come along.
Yeah, sure. Why not? If there's a market for it, we'll make it.
Well, Ian, thank you so much for coming on, talking to us about these grips. I mean, Superstroke just has so many different options for so many different golfers. If it's not something that fits you, I don't know what to tell you. And that it's just so much fun to see your guys' journey from where you started to now such a big force in golf. It's really cool to see. And thank you for taking the time to talk to us about it all.
Well, Ryan, we appreciate your interest in our brand. And, it's been a lot of hard work, as you know. None of this came easy, and we've enjoyed. Our goal has always been to help people play better golf. I mean, I know it sounds cheesy as you know what, but when Dean and I and a couple other guys started this thing back in 2008, 9, somewhere in there, right on the end of 8, end of 9. I mean, the whole concept was to help people play better golf. And of course, we tried to find an arena where there really wasn't anybody else doing what we were doing. And we've been lucky. I mean, we've been lucky that we have great customers. We have great consumers. We've had great people here at Superstroke, a good team of people. And, it's just been a blessing, that we've been able to get where we're at. And, we're very fortunate to meet people like you and be able to talk and share our passions and our dreams. And it's been a lot of fun, for the most part.
For the most part. I'm sure not every day is perfect, but.
Well, we all have children.
And we have golf games. That's the other problem.
Oh yeah.
But like you said, you're making people have a better time playing golf, and that's pretty darn rewarding.
We're trying, and I think that's kind of the theory behind what we do. So it's worked so far.
Well, long may it continue. I appreciate it, Ian. Thank you.
No, thank you, Ryan.